everybody, it is Wednesday, November 9th, 2022. Welcome to the NFL Fantasy Football Show presented by Subway. Try the Subway Series menu, your pick of 12 irresistible subs. It's me, your man MG Marcus Grant, joined by Michael F. Florio and the specialists, the cast of dozens. Give yourselves a round of applause. We appreciate all the hard work you guys do to help get this show on each and every day. And so here we are. We are starting week 10. And I think we were talking, maybe it was Patrick Claybon or Adam Rank. One of our colleagues was mentioning that there's just something different mentally when you see two digits in the week numbers. So now it feels like we're on the downhill side of things at this point.
Yeah, it's both it's fun because like the fantasy playoffs are coming and stuff, but it's also kind of sad because we look forward to this all summer and then it's just like in a blink of an eye it's gone.
We have less to go than where we started at this point. We are closer to the end than we are to the beginning. That's what I'm trying to say. But we still got plenty to talk about. We will go through all the games on the Sunday slate, I guess the Thursday slate as well. So we'll have our week 10 game previews, our heroes and villains, and we're going to debut a new thing called the Fantasy Pawn Shop. I know that the trade deadline is coming in a lot of fantasy leagues, so I'm going to offer some guys up. Florio is going to try and make a deal. We're going to haggle. We're going to see what we come up with. Big news out of Buffalo. Ian Rappaport is reporting that Bills quarterback Josh Allen is dealing with a sprained right elbow, a UCL injury that will limit him this week. Rappaport also says that while it's no sure thing that Allen plays Sunday against the Vikings, the belief is it's an injury that he can manage moving forward. Now, Sean McDermott said today that Allen isn't practicing, but that he is day to day. So the big question is, if you have Josh Allen on your roster, how worried are you, and should you maybe be making some contingency plans?
I think it's smart to have a backup plan in place, even if that is like Case Keenum in a Superflex league or something like that. Long term, though, I'm not too worried. They're calling him day to day. They've been saying it's minor from the start, but I think for week 10, you need to be a little bit concerned. The Bills have been very cautious when it comes to injuries this season. Just last week, we saw them hold out 3 defensive starters because of the turf in MetLife Field. A couple of weeks prior to that against the Steelers, they held out both of their safeties. That was ahead of the Chiefs game. This is a team that has Super Bowl aspirations, and they know that they have those Super Bowl aspirations. So I wouldn't be surprised if they take a wait-and-see approach, give Allen a week off just to heal up, but I keep saying on Twitter, like, I would be trying to buy low on Josh Allen right now because if you could get him and he's himself for the fantasy playoffs, that is the biggest advantage you can have. And right now, it's probably the only time the person with Josh Allen is a little bit worried about him.
Probably about the only chance you're going to go get him. I know there are some guys out there on the waiver wire. Check and see. Maybe a Marcus Mariota is floating around out there, somebody like that. I think at this point, I think Justin Fields is probably snapped up everywhere. But also take a peek. Maybe there's somebody out there on your waiver wire that would be worth streaming just in case Josh Allen can't go against Minnesota. Down to Dallas, where Jerry Jones tells 103.5 The Fan he anticipates Ezekiel Elliott playing Sunday against the Green Bay Packers. Now, Zeke is dealing with a knee injury, and he missed the Cowboys game against the Bears. That was before the bye week. He's had a little bit of time to get healthy. Look, at this point, Tony Pollard's a guy who should be in lineups. But knowing that Zeke maybe is a little bit banged up, would you feel comfortable starting him as, say, an RB2 this week?
I think so. I think we've reached the point where with the Cowboys running backs that they're both just like RB2s or flex options each week, and you can get them both in your starting lineup. We know Pollard's the home run hitter. Zeke is going to be the one that gets probably more touches, but his floor is lower. Well, not lower, but his floor is lower than it's been in recent years. But if he gets a touchdown or two, then we're looking at a good day.
You know Zeke's going to play because Jerry Jones has said this team is committed to him, that how Zeke goes, that's how the Cowboys are going to go. And they do still like him as a pass blocker, which means he has the opportunity to be out there on third downs. Part of the reason, though, that floor is lower this year is because the target share has not been there, and he is, of course, splitting with Tony Pollard. But both these guys have some value against the Packer run defense that, frankly, has been pretty bad so far this season. That gets us to our heroes and villains of the week. Let's start on the upswing. The guy who deserves some more buzz, who possibly could carry your team to victory this week.
Someone who carried lots of teams to victory last week, Justin Fields. And the only person more frustrated than the managers who were playing Justin Fields was the head coach who was playing Justin Fields last week. Here's Mike McDaniels on what was going on when he was playing Justin Fields last week.
No, I just wanted him to stop scrambling. And it was pretty irritating because he didn't listen at all. He didn't take the coaching at that stage of the game. I figured no one had asked him to stop it, so I gave that a try. I think other coaches can learn from my experience that he does not listen, so rely on other tactics.
Oh, Mike McDaniel. He really is sort of McLovin, like as a NFL football coach is kind of what he is. But that was pretty good.
If you covered up, if we just heard the audio, I'd be like, that was a fantasy manager who is going against
Right.
Justin Fields, not another head coach. And I think Justin Fields just keeps on keeping on this week. He gets the Detroit Lions. That's a huge part of it. The Lions are in the top 3 in fantasy points allowed to quarterbacks, but they also allow a ton of production on the ground. So I anticipate not just getting, Justin Fields throwing the ball as well as he has been as of late, but maybe he's not going to set a single game rushing record again. But I think, something like 60 to 80 rushing yards is very much so in the realm of possibility.
You're talking about a guy who's playing good football, and now he gets the best possible matchup you can get for a quarterback. And I know Aaron Rodgers didn't take advantage of that last week, but Rodgers seems to be on the downswing while Fields very much on an upturn here. For me, my fantasy hero of the week is Cordero Patterson, and we saw him come back last week and score a pair of touchdowns against the Chargers. Now, he had a pretty even snap share with Tyler Algier, and by the way, I do like Algier as a sleeper. We might get to that maybe a little bit later on in the show, but I do think this is going to be a week we see Patterson start to get more opportunity as he gets a little bit healthier, gets a little bit more involved, and he's got a great matchup against the Panthers. We saw Atlanta run all over this defense a couple of weeks ago, so now that Patterson is back, and you're probably starting him maybe as a flex, maybe as an RB2 at best, there's a lot of upside here for a guy who I think can perform very well coming off of injury. Fantasy villain of the week. Who's the guy who is going to sink your chances to win?
It's a guy who's been sinking team's chances to win all year. Najee Harris, unfortunately, he's returning from the bye, but he gets a super tough matchup against the Saints. And I know Kenyon Drake ran well against them on Monday night, but throughout the year, the Saints have been tough against the run. Just a couple weeks ago, we saw them stop a red-hot Josh Jacobs. They're in the bottom of the league in production allowed on the ground to running backs. And then Najee Harris just hasn't played well. He hasn't reached 14 fantasy points in a game this year. He hasn't reached 13 since week 3. Once in the last month, he's topped 50 rushing yards. He has 1 touchdown on the ground this year, not being used as much in the passing game. And I think a defense like the Saints, they're going to load up front to stop Najee Harris and dare Kenny Pickett to beat them. And I don't like his chances.
And on top of that, Jaylen Warren's starting to see some more snaps
Yes.
and touches in that backfield too, so it's all bad for Najee Harris.
Fantasy Twitter's hyping him up, and I'm like, all he does is hurt Najee
Right.
Harris. Like, if Najee Harris isn't doing anything here, a guy splitting reps isn't going to either.
He's not getting enough to make him valuable on
Yeah.
his own. So yeah, I don't really understand that, other than everybody's just trying to get out ahead of the curve, I guess. But I don't see a curve here to get out ahead of. I'm going to stay in Pennsylvania though for my fantasy villain of the week, and it's Miles Sanders. And yes, he's been very good this year, and we all sort of are regretting the fact that we listened to him when he said, "Don't draft me." And on paper, you would think, yeah, he's got the Commanders. Why not? But Washington has been pretty good against the run so far this season. They've done a very good job of shutting down running backs. They haven't done as good a job shutting down opposing passing games. So this feels like a week where you see Jalen Hurts with his arm do damage, getting the ball out to A.J. Brown and to Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert. So I don't know that there's a lot available for Miles Sanders. Maybe you're hoping that he gets some carries near the end to grind it down if Philly has a lead. But overall, I just don't think this is a good week to have Sanders. I think you're going to play him because, again, he's been so good, it's hard to sit him. But I just don't like the matchup for him this week. TNF, it is the Atlanta Falcons against the Carolina Panthers, the second time they have met in the last few weeks. Of course, you can see that game on Prime Video at 8:15 p.m. Eastern, also on NFL Plus. First question, have we officially given up on Kyle Pitts?
Did you even have to ask?
I'm just reading what's in the rundown right now.
So I've given up hope that Kyle Pitts will ever live up to pre-draft expectations, but I think in the fact that he can be a useful fantasy tight end, I'm not giving up hope, because all the first few weeks of the season we were clamoring Arthur Smith throw the ball to Kyle Pitts. Well, throwing the ball to Kyle Pitts, and he had a bunch of air yards. They're using him downfield now. Will that sustain? I don't know. The hope is that it will. But while he's in the midst of getting more volume, I'm not going to drop him, especially when he gets the Panthers this week. He had 19 fantasy points against them 2 weeks ago. There's not... I don't know if there's any tight ends on the waiver wire that I think have the upside as Kyle Pitts if he's getting that sort of volume.
My response to the question was, well, define given up. And I've given up on him being the guy that is going to return that third round value if that's where you drafted him. Yeah, that I have given up on. I haven't given up on him having week-to-week value because, again, he's sort of in that jumble of tight ends that really anybody could finish, say, from tight end 7 or 8 all the way down to tight end 20. And I look around at some of the other guys. You talk about going out on the waiver wire or finding sleeper tight ends, and none of them have the ceiling that Kyle Pitts does. Like, they all seem to have the same floor because Pitts' floor is dreadfully low. But the ceiling is sort of where I'm looking. And because of that, because they are taking more shots, and I know the last few weeks he's seen his target share go up, his air yard share go up, and even his fantasy points per game go up. So that kind of at least keeps me from completely tapping out on Kyle Pitts. But no, he's not going to be the dude we thought he was going to be coming into the season. More points in this Thursday night game from the wide receivers, Terrace Marshall Jr. or Drake London?
Terrace Marshall Jr., because at least he gets targets. At least he gets the ball in the end zone like that. I think there's a good chance that he scores a touchdown this week because we know that they can move the ball against this Falcons defense. And when they get close to the end zone, like, he's the guy that they start turning to in the passing game. Drake London, look, if Kyle Pitts played wide receiver and Drake London played tight end, I would be on Drake London because I'd be saying, like, he's got more upside than a lot. But he's a receiver, and there's far too many receivers out there that have more upside. I love his talent, but I think he's droppable in fantasy.
Yeah, he is. And I'm watching that dream die. That's why I'm kind of sighing here because I thought Drake London was going to be the top scoring rookie wide receiver this year. And he's not even in the conversation anymore because they're just not throwing the football enough. And when they do, they're not throwing it to him. Also, getting the ball snatched away from you by Khalil Mack last week was not a great thing.
Yeah.
He literally took the lunch money out of your pocket, Drake. What happened there? So I'm going to go Terrace Marshall Jr. for all the reasons that Florio said. He's getting the targets. He's getting the opportunity, whereas London isn't. That makes him a much more viable fantasy option right now.
I can't wait till next year when we're once again in on Kyle Pitts and Drake.
We're going to be back in on them because, it'll be like Desmond Ridder or somebody else at quarterback. And then we'll have hope that they're going to throw the football again next year. All right, we got more game previews coming up. That's after the break. Stick around for more of the NFL Fantasy Football Show. It's time for Look to the Data presented by Intel. We got this nugget from our NFL research team. DeAndre Swift is averaging 1.33 fantasy points per opportunity. That's carries plus targets. That leads all running backs this season who have had a minimum of 40 opportunities. But Swift, for all of that, is currently the RB34 this season. Now, last week we saw him on the field, but in a very limited role, and he didn't have a whole lot of production there. Do you trust starting him this week against the Chicago Bears?
It's very up in the air. I think this is a matchup that's good enough where you trust Swift because the Bears have been ran on all year long. Plus, they really struggle at running backs who can get outside of the tackles, and we know that DeAndre Swift not only can do that, he is super explosive when he does it. But hopefully the Lions are nice enough like they were last week when, like, on Sunday morning they were like, hey, listen, he's going to be super limited again. If that's the case, then no, I think you get away from him. But right now, the early talk is that he's going to see more work this week, and I think he's just so explosive. It's why I've been saying to trade for him and stuff, because on a full workload, there's very few running backs who could do what DeAndre Swift can do.
Well, and it's the reason that even knowing he was going to be limited, I think we both sort of advocated if you can flex him, I think there's still an opportunity just because there's a chance for him to have a big play, maybe score a touchdown. It didn't happen, but the process was certainly there for it. So, again, if he's getting a big workload, then, hey, we're all in on DeAndre Swift. If he's going to be limited, then maybe see who else you have and kind of weigh your options at that point. Back to our game previews. We start with the Seahawks and the Buccaneers. That game will be played in Munich, Germany. Of course, you can catch it 9:30 a.m. Eastern on NFL Network or stream it on NFL Plus. Now, Chris Godwin has the second most targets since week 4, but in that same stretch, he's tied for just 19th in receiving yards. So what is your confidence level in starting Chris Godwin this week against a Seattle defense that's been better lately?
I think Chris Godwin is someone that you likely have to start, probably either as like a wide receiver 2 or 3 or even a flex option. The ceiling just hasn't been there this year. Like for a while, I kept writing about Chris Godwin as a start, saying like him putting up 12, 13 fantasy points every week is great because it's showing us that he has a safe, reliable floor. But we know that there's more upside here. Godwin, as he gets further removed from the surgery and as the Bucs offense starts clicking, like we're going to start to see those classic Chris Godwin games, and they just haven't been there. But the good thing is he's still getting you in PPR leagues double digits every week. So I think you have to continue to start him. He's getting double-digit targets every week. I think you start him, but he's just not what at least he's not what he was a year ago. We haven't seen it yet.
He hasn't been what we were used to seeing, and some of it is the offense isn't what we're used to seeing over the last couple of years. Tom Brady has not played as well. The whole Bucs offense has taken a step back this year. So I think you're playing Godwin for the floor and hoping maybe he hits the ceiling, but so far it hasn't really been a very high ceiling for him this season. What else are you considering in this Seahawks-Bucs game?
Geno Smith. He's a start, and I think at one point in this season, we definitely him that, but we thought the Bucs defense would be one to avoid, and it really hasn't been. And the fact of the matter is, Geno Smith is playing really good football right now. Like he's the QB 8 on the season in total points. He scored 19 or more fantasy points in 5 of his last 7 games. There's quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers and Matt Stafford who haven't reached 19 fantasy points in a game yet this season. So I think the quarterback landscape has changed more than any position in season, and those guys who we thought were going to be weekly starts are players that you don't need to start. Some of them are players you don't even need to roster, whereas Geno Smith is someone that I think you just start each and every week.
Geno Smith has crept into the actual NFL MVP conversation for what he's done. That is how good he has been
I
so
saw
far
a
this season.
Crazy stat. If he gets an MVP vote, he'll get one before Russell Wilson.
It's very much in the realm of possibility
Yeah.
this year. So
I figure he gets one. If I was a voter, I would throw him a vote just for that.
Just to do it. Because we know Russ isn't going to get one this year, so maybe Geno Smith can get his MVP vote. Vikings at the Bills. Buffalo trying to shake off last week's loss. We'll see whether or not they have Josh Allen available to them. They will, unless something weird happens, have Gabe Davis available to them. Can we expect a bounce-back game after Davis kind of put up a dud last week?
I think if Josh Allen plays, Gabe Davis remains in play because of just how big of a big playability he is. Like I know he's been disappointing as of late. He literally had a 70-yard strike after Josh Allen. Like this throw came after he hurt his elbow, not that one, but the downfield 70-yarder that hit Gabe Davis in the numbers. But if Josh Allen sits, Gabe Davis easily hits the bench.
Yeah, I think that's the case there. Just the thing about Gabe Davis is we spent a lot of time arguing about him this offseason, and it turns out both sides were right. He's an explosive player who doesn't necessarily need a lot of targets in order to put up a big number, but also because so many of his opportunities come well down the field. The drops certainly haven't helped. He's going to have a lot of games where it is a low floor. I mean, home run hitters strike out a lot, and I think that's what we're seeing with Gabe Davis. So everybody who had an opinion on Gabe Davis, pat yourself on the back because whatever it was, you're probably right.
He's the Joey Gallo of football players. I just
really
realized
is.
it.
He's the Joey Galloway of football. Joey Galloway, for anybody, for like 3 for $120 and a touchdown, and the next week he get you like 4 for 17, something like that. That was it.
That's Gabe Davis.
That was Gabe Davis. That's what Joey Galloway was too. I think you might be considering sitting Devin Singletary. At the very least, you're going to beware of Devin Singletary this week against the Vikings. Minnesota has been tough on running backs. The hope here would be that if the Bills can put together a good offensive performance, take a lead, maybe you see Singletary in the second half. But even then, we saw James Cook get some more work. If Josh Allen is healthy, he's going to get some running opportunities. We'll see how Nyheim Hines slots into it. There's just a lot of running backs there that can get touches, that can get snaps in this Bills offense. And so Singletary, while he's still the lead running back, his floor and his ceiling have definitely been lowered. And if you can get away from him this week, I would probably consider that. Lions at the Bears. We talked about Justin Fields and how good he has been and how good this matchup has been. Does that have you interested in anybody else on the Bears side?
Yeah, and it's a player that I personally have been talking down the last couple of weeks just as his role changes. But David Montgomery, if he is not a start this week, when is he? Like, he's playing the Detroit Lions, who have just been ran all over all year. They're allowing 26 fantasy points per game to the position. That's the 7th most in the NFL. That includes allowing 11 rushing touchdowns to the position, the 2nd most in the league. Justin Fields is going to get his on the ground. We know Khalil Herbert will eat into the touches as well, but if Montgomery can't put up a lot of fantasy points on his 15-plus touches, then we really have to reevaluate him.
This is what we said last week about the Packers, too, and now we're stuck reevaluating the Packers after what they did against the Lions. Jaguars and the Chiefs, and I got a sleeper. It's Mecole Hardman. For years, we have been waiting for Mecole Hardman to live up to his sleeper potential, and it was like, maybe we should stop making fetch happen. You know what? Screw you, Regina George. We're making fetch happen with Mecole Hardman. He has touchdowns in 3 straight games. He's starting to get more opportunity. They're sort of moving him around. They're having him run a lot of different routes, but they're also using him near the goal line. A lot of those jet sweeps, those quick little shovel passes just to get him in the end zone, which is improving his value. It's muddying the waters for Clyde Edwards-Helaire and the rest of those running backs there. But if you're looking for a sleeper, especially if you're in a deeper league, Mecole Hardman's starting to get work, and it's a good matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars this week. Browns and the Dolphins. Last week, Jeff Wilson came in his first game in Miami, ended up with more snaps and more fantasy points than Raheem Mostert. Who scores more this week? Is it Wilson again, or does Mostert take that title back?
I'm going to go with Jeff Wilson Jr. Just because Raheem Mostert, he was getting the job done, but we haven't really seen that home run ability yet. I know he still has it, but we haven't seen it out of him, at least not in the last couple of weeks. And Jeff Wilson Jr. coming in and doing his thing right away, fresh off of getting traded, I feel like he could get even more work this week now that he's even more acclimated in that system.
I'm going to say Mostert, and this is no analysis, it's just vibes, that after last week with Wilson coming in, getting so many opportunities, it was kind of a welcome to Miami moment. Now it goes back to Mostert maybe getting some more opportunities. I could see this fluctuating and going back and forth all season long, but I feel like this is the week they say, okay, Mostert, Raheem, this is your turn. You get the opportunities and you run. Again, no analysis, just vibes. We'll see how it plays out when it's all said and done. Anybody else that people should pay attention to from this one?
Tua Tagovailoa, he's a start, and this is like the 4th straight week or something like that he's been a start in my column, and I wrote, eventually I'm going to have to stop writing about him because he's just going to be a must-start option that people play every week. 2 weeks ago, he scored 29 fantasy points, was the QB1. Last week, over 24 fantasy points, was a top 5 fantasy quarterback. Say what you will about his deep ball, it's getting the job done, and he has just been surgical on short to intermediate passes. He's getting the ball out quickly, precisely to Hill and Waddle and letting those guys do their thing. And then I know the Browns are a matchup that you look at and you say, oh, they're better for the run game than the passing game. When it comes to Miami, I don't think it matters because the run game exists there solely to set up Tua in the pass game.
I think, you sort of throw those matchups out the window with Miami just because Waddle and Hill have been so good and Tua's throwing the ball so well that maybe it doesn't matter quite as much. Still got more game previews to get to, including what are we doing about our Green Bay Packers players this week against the Dallas Cowboys. We got that and more next on the NFL Fantasy Football Show. Houston Texans travel up to New York to take on the Giants, and I think you might want to be wary of starting Daniel Jones this week. We've been able to pick on the Texans mostly for their run defense. Their pass defense has not really been that bad, and Jones, not a guy with a high passing ceiling. He's sort of making his fantasy living running the football, and so maybe there's an opportunity for him there, but in terms of throwing the football, especially with an uncertain pass-catching group, I mean, Wan'Dale Robinson really hasn't popped the way we want. There hasn't really been anybody else. I know there's talk that maybe Kenny Golladay comes back this week.
That's
see.
a game changer.
Well, I'll believe it when I see it. But either way, there's just not a lot to get excited about. I think this is a huge Saquon Barkley game against the Texans. But if you are starting Daniel Jones, and trust me, I have him in a super flex league where I might have to start him, not very fired up about what might be this week. Saints at the Steelers. New Orleans coming off a rough game where they were kind of beaten up by the Baltimore Ravens. The Steelers struggling all year long. Not a great week for Alvin Kamara last week. Is this a bounce-back game for him against Pittsburgh?
It all depends on Andy Dalton. Like, Andy Dalton's the reason why Alvin Kamara had a bad game. He turned the ball over, struggled to move the ball. Then they fell behind multiple scores. You can't run the ball when you're trailing like that. And then he wasn't throwing the ball to Kamara as much either, and that's been his one saving grace. If I'm an Alvin Kamara manager, I mean, obviously you're starting him each and every week, but I'm definitely worried about Jameis Winston taking that job back.
I'm curious what happens at quarterback because they seem to have committed to Dalton, but he's not really getting the job done. I do think this is a decent Kamara week. I think the matchup is good, and I think after last week, just to sort of keep the game close, maybe you see more checkdowns to Kamara. So I think he rebounds a little bit this week. Anybody else that we should take note of in this game?
George Pickens, he's a sleeper for sure. And I was surprised to see how available he was on waiver wires in NFL.com leagues. And then I looked at it and I was like, no, it makes sense. He put up a 0 and then he had a bye week. So a lot of people were like, I'm going to get away from him. But he has shown great flashes that he could be like an alpha wide receiver 1 in this league. Made the catch of the year in my opinion. But like even like the ones you're seeing here, him winning downfield on the sideline and stuff. He had at least 14 fantasy points in 3 of his last 5 games before the bye. And now no Chase Claypool, who was taking a good amount of volume away. I think that's just going to mean more volume for Deontay, for Pickens, for Freiermuth. But I think Pickens is the biggest winner of them all.
I've heard some people say they think by the end of the year, George Pickens is going to pass Deontay Johnson as the number 1 target.
He has the talent to do so, I think.
We'll see. It's going to be interesting. But having Chase Claypool there certainly means more opportunity, in theory at least, for Pickens. Broncos at the Titans. This won't come as a surprise, but stay away from any Broncos running backs. That backfield is a mess. They went out and they added Chase Edmonds recently, which put him back there with Melvin Gordon. Latavius Murray is still there. We'll see if Mike Boone is healthy. Either way, it's just a mess in that backfield. Now they've got a bad matchup against the Tennessee Titans as well. There's nothing here that is really appealing. If the Titans are going to be beaten, it's going to be through the air with Russell Wilson and those pass catchers. Do not want when it comes to Broncos running backs. Colts at the Raiders, 2 teams that are heading in the same direction. That's down right now. The Colts will debut their new head coach, their new play caller, a guy who has not ever called plays at any level.
What are we doing?
We'll find out.
I'm a little insulted. I didn't know that they were, hiring TV analysts for their jobs, and they didn't even interview me. They didn't even ask me or you.
Nobody called us about this. I could be. Look, I'd move to Indianapolis for a head coaching job. That's all I'm saying. Anything else we should pay attention to though this week?
Yeah, I think it's the time to sit Michael Pittman Jr. Unfortunately, because we don't know anything about Jeff Saturday and the first-time play caller. But if I had to guess, I'm gonna say the former center offensive lineman who got the job because he doesn't know analytics at all is going to try to establish the run. Like, I have no doubts in my mind that they are going to be trying to establish the run as long as they can in this game. And Sam Ehlinger has already been a downgrade from Matt Ryan. He's hurting Michael Pittman Jr. Last week, we've seen Pittman put up lows across the board. He's just trending in the wrong direction. But with that being said, because I think they're going to establish the run so much, if Jonathan Taylor plays, he's the only Colt I think you could start.
3 or 4 weeks ago, we were talking about, we loved Michael Pittman. Alec Pierce was a thing. We were even talking about, hey, man, Paris Campbell might be a thing. It wasn't that long ago. Now, you're definitely out on Campbell. You're out on Pierce. Pittman is just sort of barely hanging on by a thread. Life comes at you fast.
Please bring back Matt Ryan. At least he was able to get the ball to his pass catchers.
That's all we want. Just bring back Matt Ryan. Just help us. Because the season, I know it's kind of an evaluation year now, but help us out, please. That's all we want. Cowboys at the Packers. Sit all of your Packers. All of them. I might even consider sitting Aaron Jones because he's dealing with a foot issue. I know they said that it's not a big deal. They expect that he's going to practice and maybe play this week. But he left the stadium in a walking boot last week. He left that game in, the third quarter. The Packers could not move the ball against the Lions. They scored 9 points against Detroit last week. Now they got to deal with Micah Parsons and that pass rush. They got to deal with Trevon Diggs and that secondary. There's just nothing that's really appealing. Look, Romeo Doubs is out. Alan Lazard has been just meh. I don't want any part of any Packers this week. Again, maybe you're starting Aaron Jones, but even that, just not excited about. Never thought we'd say this, that the Packers are just not usable, but that's where we are right now.
They might. I was wondering if the Lions win this week and the Packers lose, the Packers would fall into last place in the division?
So. I believe that's what it is.
They're playing for draft picks right now. It's crazy.
Oof, man, never would have seen it happen. Still got a few more game previews, including a big Sunday night game against two of the top running backs in fantasy football. We will dive into that next on the NFL Fantasy Football Show. Cardinals at the Rams. That'll be over at SoFi Stadium on Sunday. The Rams still just kind of free-falling, had that tough loss to the Buccaneers last week. Cardinals just kind of treading water at this point in the NFC West. What are you doing fantasy-wise in this matchup?
We said all year there's two Rams you can trust, right? Cooper Kupp and Tyler Higbee. And now it's looking like it's just Cooper Kupp, but I'm going to give Tyler Higbee one more chance and say start him this week. And it has almost nothing to do with Tyler Higbee. It's all about the matchup. Like right now, not only do the Cardinals allow by far the most fantasy points to tight ends, and it's not even close. They also allow the most targets, they allow the most catches, the most yards, and the most touchdowns. Literally every category you can allow to the position, they allow the most. Last week, I was saying start Noah Fant. He had his best game of the year against him. Like, it's just a thing. Tight ends against the Cardinals have good games. And again, it's not like Tyler Higbee is some unheard of tight end who hasn't really done anything this year. He's had a couple of bad games, but before that, he was a very useful fantasy piece.
He has been, like you said, one of two useful pieces for fantasy in this Rams offense. So I'm fully on board with starting him there. Chargers at the 49ers on Sunday Night Football. By the way, thanks again to Austin Eckler for coming on. If you did not check out our show on Monday, go back and listen to it. Austin Eckler, really fun interview, had a lot of really good things to say, so it's worth diving back in and giving that another listen. Will Christian McCaffrey have more than 25 fantasy points? The Chargers have allowed 30 fantasy points per game to running backs, second worst in the NFL this year. Even Eckler sort of kind of conceded that the run defense has been a little bit leaky lately. So, will CMC, I know we're not doing Club Dub until Thursday, but will he get into Club Dub with more than 25 points?
Yes, easily. I think this is the easiest question of the day. Like, that's a little bit of an above average game for Christian McCaffrey, and it's the second best matchup he could possibly have. Plus, now he's even more acclimated, and he had the bye week to really learn and develop chemistry in this offense. I think that he could not only is he going to do good this week, Marcus, I think he could be the fantasy MVP the rest of the year.
Would not be a surprise if he is, and I'm with you. He scores more than 25 points. You're right. He's had a bye week to kind of get acclimated a little bit more. Plus, the Niners' offense should be fully operational because before the bye, they didn't have Deebo Samuel in that game against the Rams. Deebo should be back and healthy to go with Ayuk and Kittle and CMC. This offense is going to be absolutely loaded. So now if you're the Chargers, you very much have to pick your poison. Your run defense is already bad. We know McCaffrey can catch the football. 25 points.
He can throw the football.
He can throw the football. 25 points seems pretty easy for him this week. I would also say, maybe beware of Justin Herbert because we have not seen him have a lot of big fantasy games this season. They're still sort of working through some injuries at the wide receiver group. Mike Williams expected to still be out. We'll see what Keenan Allen's status is, though we certainly haven't heard anything really positive so far yet this week. I mean, Josh Palmer was sort of a nice deep league play, a sleeper play, but he's not going to really get it done. Gerald Everett was not great last week. So Herbert did everything he could. He helped the Chargers get a win, but he also had like 245 passing yards. So I don't really love him this week against a 49er defense that has been very tough pretty much all season long.
Agreed fully.
Commanders at the Eagles on Monday Night Football. Do we trust starting Devonta Smith?
I wrote meh because it depends on your options. Like, his ceiling is sky high, and we know that, and it's a great matchup, but the floor has been anything but sturdy. So it would always, I think in like a 12-team league, you probably don't have a better option this week, but if you're in a shallower league, you potentially could get away.
I could see that. I think you can trust him this week. I said earlier in the show that I didn't like Miles Sanders against this matchup, but I do like the pass catchers. So maybe this is one of those games where we see a couple of different guys eat, where it's A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, or maybe it's Smith and Dallas Goedert or what have you. But I think the passing game is going to come in big for Philadelphia. So because of that ceiling, I still believe in starting Devonta Smith this week, so I think you can do that. Anybody else we should start or sit or what have you this week?
I would beware of the Commanders' wide receivers. Not only is the Eagles secondary one of the better ones in the NFL, and just I forget who it was, but a couple of weeks ago they completely put the clamps on a couple of good receivers. But then they also get pressure on the quarterback, and Taylor Heineke, no offense to him, he's not like Patrick Mahomes or anyone like that. And then like Curtis Samuel's play was awesome, but it was very fluky. I think you get away from Curtis Samuel this week. I think Terry McLaurin, the upside is too high that you probably still have to start him. But just understand that like he's in a very tough matchup this week.
Very much about staying away from Curtis Samuel this week. I have him on TikTok as a sit. You can go check that out there. We do have 4 teams on a bye this week. The Ravens, the Patriots, the Bengals, and the Jets. A number of running backs not available. A couple of good quarterbacks not available to you as well. So it's important to stream some players. So along those lines, I think you can stream Jacoby Brissett. And the last time we saw him before the bye, he was putting up 20 points against the Cincinnati Bengals. He, for the most part, has been sort of good enough to get in the streaming conversation, but not good enough to force his way into your lineup. But after what he did last week, and the fact that this could be a back-and-forth game against the Dolphins, it could force Brissett into a situation where he has to throw. Miami right now giving up the most fantasy points per game to quarterbacks. A QB streamer for you.
Marcus Mariota, who not only because he had a really good game a couple of weeks ago against the Panthers where he threw for 253 yards and 3 touchdowns, rushed for 40, and scored 22 fantasy points. But when I was looking in this matchup, I saw that on runs inside the tackles right now, the Panthers are allowing the second most rushing yards over expectations. Whereas Marcus Mariota, not only is he the best quarterback on those inside runs, he's the 5th best runner in the league right now in terms of rushing yards over expectations. So I think he can do a whole lot with his legs in this one, and we've already seen him have success in the air against this matchup as well.
Over to the tight end streamers, and we're going back to the Cole Kmet. 3 touchdowns in his last 2 games, starting to see some more opportunity. I keep saying that as Justin Fields really starts burning things up as a runner, that only helps the passing game because now it's going to freeze those linebackers. They've got to pay attention. That's going to help guys like Kmet sort of get in between in those zones, find some open spots. And if they're looking for him near the end zone, that's even better. So if you're talking streamers, I think Kmet, he's not necessarily a must start, but I think he's a good streaming option if you need it. Any other streaming options for you?
Cade Otton, who clearly is winning Tom Brady's trust after this touchdown, which couldn't have come in like a more pivotal moment. Like the Bucs are hanging on by a thread their season. It's the final seconds of the game. It's on 4th down, and then he comes through for Tom Brady. I think Brady, that's going to go a long way with earning his trust. Plus, it's a great matchup. The Seahawks have been really good against receivers, but the one spot they've been weak is covering tight ends. They've allowed a bunch of fantasy points and yards and everything, and both on the year and in the last few weeks. So Cade Otton, not only a streamer, someone that I would just feel comfortable starting across the board this week.
I really do feel like he should be picked up on more rosters. One defensive streamer for you, it's the Saints, who, yes, I know they got run through by the Ravens on Monday night. The Steelers are not the Ravens, though, and I think you got Kenny Pickett, who will take some sacks, who will throw the ball to the wrong team every once in a while. That's sort of all you want the Saints to be spectacular. You need them to just be not terrible. They were kind of terrible last week, but I don't think that'll be the case this week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Fantasy trade deadline is coming in a whole lot of leagues, so we're going to try to help you out that with a thing we are calling Fantasy Pawn Stars. We're going to do some negotiating, so get ready to haggle after the break on the NFL Fantasy Football Show. Fantasy trade deadline and standard NFL.com leagues is just a couple weeks away. It's November 25th, so we figured we're going to take a trip down to the Fantasy Pawn Shop. Well, I've got some guys that I'm willing to kind of pitch to Florio here. He's going to make me an offer. We'll try to come to an agreement on what we think we can get for some of these guys. So the first one is Joe Mixon, fresh off his 55-point game. What are you willing to offer me for Joe Mixon?
Yeah, I noticed that you're bringing him in not right off of this big 55 point game as if, like that's going to last every single week. I'm not buying it. So the best I can really give you is Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk? Come on. I mean, it's not just a 55-point game. It's the fact that he is the number one running back, getting most of the snaps. In an offense, it's not bad. I mean, the Bengals can still move the football. They can score points. He's getting a lot of looks down near the goal line. And I know he's been inconsistent at kind of converting them, but the opportunity is there. I got to get more than a Christian Kirk out of this.
I'm going to have to bring someone in to check him out, and he might be on my roster for a while before I could find another taker. What if I raise it to Amari Cooper?
I mean, could we throw in something else, maybe a little add-ons to sweeten the pot with that?
Curtis Samuel?
All right, I think I can do that. I think I can do that. A Joe Mixon plus for an Amari Cooper and a Curtis Samuel. I'm getting a number one wide receiver, getting a guy who's getting funneled a lot of targets, and a guy who has some upside there. I think I could do that down the stretch. All right.
I'm happy you accepted it because my next offer was going to be A.J. Brown.
Ah! I can't believe it. I got swindled. All right. How about a Kenneth Walker, right? I mean, it's a young guy. It's in solid condition. Really performing really well. I mean, just running great. You just hear that engine purr whenever you start it up. What can I get for a Kenneth Walker?
I'm not even gonna try to haggle too low with you because I see the value in Kenneth Walker. I know there's a market out there for him, but he's still a little bit unproven down the stretch. How about another young asset in Jalen Waddle?
Ooh, I like that. I can get a Jalen Waddle for Kenneth Walker. I don't necessarily want to jump on the first offer. I'm wondering, is there a way to add maybe an RB2 there? Somebody, I don't know. Can I take a Najee Harris off your hands too on top of that? Would you be willing to do that?
I'll consider that for sure. I definitely am willing to give you a second RB2 to get either of the Miami guys interest you. Najee Harris is certainly on the table there. Tony Pollard?
Ooh, I would definitely take a Tony Pollard there.
I think that's a fair trade all around.
Sure, absolutely. A Jalen Waddle and a Tony Pollard, I would 100% do that. I get a solid wide receiver. I get an RB2 that has some upside potentially. I know I've given up a lot with Kenneth Walker, but I like what I'm getting in return. Juju Smith-Schuster, who really starting to come around. I know that, you had to kind of knock the dust off of him. People weren't all that excited, but, he's starting to polish up a little bit. So what are you willing to offer me for Juju?
Juju's been up and down. You're bringing him in at the right time for you. It's a good time to sell high on him right now with the recent production he's been having. Can I interest you in another player who's been playing well and overperforming in Jamal Williams?
Ooh, very interested in a Jamal Williams. Although the thing about Jamal Williams is that once DeAndre Swift gets fully healthy, the value on him goes down a little bit. So I would like something else to maybe, is there a wide receiver 2 or a high-end wide receiver 3 that maybe you'd be willing to throw in to sweeten that pot?
Can I interest you in a Kadarius Toney?
They're on the same team. What else you got back there?
What about, I'm going to play to your heartstrings a little bit. What about a one Brandon Ayuk?
You know what? I will do that for a Brandon Ayuk. We'll throw Brandon Ayuk in there to sweeten the pot. So we'll add that, the running back. Who was the running back that we had at the beginning there?
Jamal Williams.
So Jamal Williams and Brandon Ayuk. I would do that for Juju Smith-Schuster. I feel like I'm getting something good here. I like that.
I think Juju is a player that I know I've been low on, but I'm coming around. Like he's playing well.
He's playing really well right now. But Ayuk, a guy who's, look, he has his breakout games potentially, even with Debo and CMC there and Jamal Williams. As long as Swift is less than 100%, getting a lot of work, and even when Swift comes back, still gets some work. Last one, I got a Mike Evans right here. And look, I know that lately maybe it hasn't been what I want, but this is still a quality player, and I wanting to know what you're willing to give me for Mike Evans.
I like Mike Evans. The only issue is I gotta take on the headache of calling other people, seeing if Tom Brady's okay, if this offense is gonna get going at any point. So my thinking was your Bucs headache for my Bucs headache. How about Mike Evans for Leonard Fournette?
Ooh, I will do that. I think I'll do that straight up. I like Fournette. I think the season, the schedule works out well for him in the back half. I like his fantasy playoff schedule, and I like that he's sort of game script proof. For everybody who wants to, people keep trying to sell me this Rachaad White, and I'm not buying that, but I will definitely, I think I'm willing to do that straight up even.
Maybe I should have. I got to get better at haggling. I think. I think I'm coming in too hot with that first offer.
Normally I'm not about accepting the first offer, but that one seems really good because the Fournette's a guy that I really like. So I'll take that straight up. Evans for Fournette. So there you go. That's the fantasy pawn shop. If there are guys out there that you're willing to make a move on, or if you have questions about, obviously you can tweet us at NFL Fantasy. We'll try to get to some of them. I mean, we still have time before the trade deadline. We can also maybe work it out on, I don't know, the Start Sit show, the Q&A show. We'll figure out some of these trades to maybe work out before we hit the deadline. It is time now for Preparation Equals Performance, presented by Castrol Edge, where we talk some sleepers to close things out. And who do you have as a sleeper this week?
I'm going to disappoint you a little bit because I know earlier you said to sit the Broncos running backs, and for the most part, I agree. But I do have a couple of teams where injury, like Breece Hall, I lost a couple of other key injured players, and now bye weeks are taking their toll. And in those spots, I'm starting Latavius Murray. Ooh. And all I'm hoping for is a touchdown. And he's been getting the goal line work as of late there, and I do think the Broncos will be able to move the ball because, like you said, the secondary of the Titans have struggled greatly. So if they get in the red zone, I'm hoping that they just hand the ball off to Latavius Murray because at some point when you're going deeper for a running back, it's kind of like tight end. You're just hoping they score.
I don't hate this just because, like you said, you're sort of just hoping for that touchdown upside, not that you expect a big performance out of him. We talked about the Dolphins running backs, and I like Jeff Wilson Jr. I know I said I like Raheem Mostert to score more this week because I think he gets more snaps, but that doesn't mean that Wilson is not in play against the Browns' run defense that's been pretty bad all year long. This might be sneakily one of the higher scoring games of the week. I know it's not pegged that way, but I just have a feeling that we're going to see a lot of points in this one, so I do like Wilson. Any other sleepers for you?
Antonio Gibson, and it's funny that how we've gone full circle in this Commanders backfield, but Brian Robinson hasn't really been too effective as of late. His snaps and touches have been declining. He played fewer than half the snaps last week, whereas Antonio Gibson was playing more than half of the snaps. He was splitting work on the ground, and he's been the back getting the targets. He's also been the back that they're using in the red zone, and I think this being a week against the Eagles, Commanders could easily be chasing points, and if that's the case, it's not going to be Brian Robinson out there. It's going to be Antonio Gibson.
It is nice to see him sort of rebound for us fantasy-wise. My last one is Jerry Jeudy, because he keeps saying if you're going to beat the Titans, it's probably going to be through the air. And over the last few weeks, it's Jeudy that is leading this team in target share and in air yard share. So it is sort of pivoted away from Courtland Sutton, more to Jerry Jeudy. The Broncos still bad offensively, 15.1 points per game, which is third worst in the NFL. But I think this is a week where Jerry Jeudy could have some nice fantasy value. You want more about sleepers? You can check out my weekly column at NFL.com/sleepers. Comes out on Thursday, so be sure to find it when it is live. In the meantime, for us, that is it. We are done. We appreciate you hanging out with the NFL Fantasy Football Show presented by Subway. Try the Subway Series menu, your pick of 12 irresistible subs. You know the drill. Tell two friends to tell two friends. Rate, review, and remember, laziness is just the habit of resting before you get tired. Be safe, take care of yourselves, enjoy Week 10, everybody, and we'll talk to you next week.